first join us, I'm Shah. Okay, today we will invite Professor, Associate Professor Dr. Mohammed Bashir from UTAR to give a talk related to academic article writing and publishing in high impact journal. So, for your information, this meeting is record. After finish this session, we will put this meeting, the video, in our channel, Facebook, YouTube. We will send the link to you, and we will put the link in this chat. After that, maybe through this meeting, some part you are not clear what, you can go there and watch again. So, for your information also, this meeting is very open. So if you have any question when the professor talk, you can direct interrupt him to ask. He will answer to you. So I think welcome Professor to start your talk.
So thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Happy to join you. I was willing to visit your campus, but anyhow things change, right? So, but still we can meet each other. So thanks for the IT people, right, who make it possible. So just a short background about myself. Actually did my first degree in civil engineering at Islamic University of Gaza, then master and PhD in University of Science Malaysia. So later in 2011, I joined UTAR, and now chairing the Department of Environmental Engineering. So in terms of publication, we have more than 200 articles, and this is actually the citation and so on. So in fact, we have quite long experience, I would say, in publication. So I wish to share with you, rather than to give you a lecture, to share with you some of my experience. Then you can ask me and we discuss together, rather than a traditional class, because no point with that one. So my presentation will be divided into a few sections. The main scope of my presentation will be a short global view on publication, followed by the structure of research paper, how to select the right journal, and journal suppression process, and then later dealing with the reviewer comment. So each one of them, in fact, can take long session, you know. Each one of them can take half a day, but we will squeeze them into half an hour or a little bit more or a little bit less. It's up to, based on the discussion later on. Let me start with this one. A student, especially postgraduate, when they start to talk about publication, they will think this is complicated issue. There is limited journal will accept my paper, where I should send my paper. We have to motivate you now. In fact, there is abundant amount, there is a lot of journal in this world. A huge number of journals you can publish in, right? So you are not the only one who need the journal. The journal also you need your research. So the choice is a lot. If you talk about ISI or ICI paper journal alone, you talk about more than 22,000, right? In terms of journal. And imagine some journal, even one journal of them might publish 100 paper per year, but some might publish 4,000 paper per year. Imagine that. Yeah, so for example, I would say for Journal of Paper Production, because I'm an engineer, so I'm working in environment and sustainability, so but most of my example will be related to my field. So if I take example one is Journal of Cleaner Production. This journal is Q1 in many category and with impact factor about almost 6. So this journal, they have about 4,000 article in 2 years. That means per year 2,000 plus. But on the other hand, if I took another journal, which is like Material Cycle Waste Management from Japan, also ISI, they publish per year less than 100, maybe 80. So it depends also. The journal need publication. So it's not that tough to go for publication. Choice are available for you as a researcher to select. So there is a lot of journal, right? There is no limitation. Now the question, I want you to think, maybe you can add more. why you need to publish paper. Why you need to publish paper? I think for you as a postgraduate, the most important things you want to graduate, right? You want to make your supervisor happy. You want to be happy. You want to graduate, then this is part of the requirement, right? Most of the university will request one ISI journal for PhD, and for master one international reviewed, but not necessarily a SCI paper. So depend on the university. Some university have criteria for this one. Even maybe in Malaysia, the criteria is higher than many countries, including Europe country, in terms of application as a requirement. So of course, you want to publish because you want to graduate. Your supervisor wanted for his KPI and so on, promotion. Could be one of the reasons. Another one, which you should focus more on in this stage. So normally for postgraduate students, I advise you publish in the first year. When they start, when they join, I advise them, you go and write review paper on this field. Why? It's not because actually I want to give extra work, but in fact, it's because when he write or when she write, they will start to learn those skills of writing, scientific paper writing and reviewing. Then when we submit to the journal, they will start to receive feedback. And this feedback will correct their steps. Because you talk with the supervisor talk with you, you need to consult other people in the world who's expert in the field, right? And this publication is good way to get feedback. That's why if you have a preliminary result, preliminary data, it's very good to go to try publication. Don't make it at last minute. When you're going to graduate, then you start to publish. Of course, it's good to have something to publish after graduation, but I mean, in the first stage, it's good to have publication, then you will start to receive comment from experts on your work, then it can enhance the quality of the work. Of course, we talk about KPI, promotion, get grant. Now, when we apply for a grant, they will start to look to our previous record of publication, successful project. So this is important. Ranking. Now, university in the world, maybe in Malaysia as well, crazy of ranking. You can see that. Even sometimes we talk about ranking more than the quality. So, but one of the major issue about ranking is publication and the quality of the publication, which the ranking of the journal that you publish in. And this is one of the important factors. And unfortunately, most of this one is by English. Even those countries like Japan who have some journal in Japanese language or other language, they will have problem if they publish in their own journal only, because this one will not be much counted in the publication for the ranking, university ranking. So it's a part of the game now. And then something which is important also is the satisfaction. When you publish more now, even you don't talk about KPI or whatever, you will feel like, oh, my name become online. So the people read me, cite me, and so on. So it will give you some happiness and satisfaction, right? Yes. So this is something also is good. So not everything also about KPI, or some people actually, if they publish, then the university even will pay them some money. So like award, right? Yes. So all of this one will make us okay. We want to publish.
I think also one of the reason the publication also good because we can share our idea in others people and people let people know about what we doing.
Yes, so, that's why when the people cite you, you will feel very happy that the people get benefit and they cite you. They refer to me, right? Yes. It will give really
more motivation.
Yes.
Also motivate us to continue.
Yeah, there is other factor. Even when you have now through the platform, you have ResearchGate, you have academia, or you have like a Google Scholar. People will start to contact you from other country, right? And then when they contact you from other country, they will share research. Now we have research with many other people from other countries. It's just because of the name or ResearchGate or the publication, then they share same research, so we apply together and join together for grant, research grant, and publication. Right. So this is one of the factors. Yes. Okay, why it's a matter for those actually, especially postgraduate. Let's say you make a major scientific breakthrough, but never write up. What will happen? No one will read it, right? Let's say you did very fantastic research, but no publication. No one will touch it. No one will read it, right? So what happened after that? Nothing. So this is one of the problem. Another one, you did something very significant, right? And you wait until the end, you wanted to publish it later. Then someone will publish it before you, because what you are doing actually, other people also researching, right? You are not alone in this world. So if you don't do it quickly, other people will publish it. And we have certain issue that the student doing some work related to environmental sustainability, then after a while sending the paper, during the process, oh, we found some papers similar already published, right? Then we have to revise our paper to change the scope of writing, to change the scope, how we discuss the novelty and so on. I mean, data still our data, but I mean, the way we write and explain the novelty and the presentation, we totally change, because the novelty of that one almost same. So you have to add something, you have to modify something. So this is one issue of being late. Then let's say you publish your article, but no one understands. That's why you cannot go for good journal. You will go for low quality journal. No one understands, no citation, no benefit, right? So this is one of the factors will be. And another problem, I think majority of us are not native speaker of English, right? So we are not that strong in English writing. So if you don't learn the skills of writing, you will need to pay a lot for what they call editing, right? And for your information, you no need to be excellent in English to write a good article. After this experience, during my PhD, yes, I used to go to send a few paper after I finished to language editing. I select one in South Korea to edit my language. But later, after editing, then I found that, oh, this is just simple matter. Slowly, then I start to know. I no need to be perfect in English to write good paper. You have to think about the simple structure, simple way that you can write, and to focus on the good presentation. Then it's fine. Because even the native speaker, if they don't know the skills of scientific paper writing, they will write fantastic English, but the presentation might not be reflecting what you want. So in this case, also not good, right? So even when you go for editing, they will send to you back, please make sure this sentence, we write it correctly and reflect the meaning. So now for scientific writing, we need to think that our paper, our article will be judged or evaluated based on a few things. One is content. Second is the structure or the format. And the third is the style. Content, of course, including the novelty, your what we call the quality of the data that you have and so on. Structure meaning the format. When you go for any journal, bioresource technology, you go for energy and management or whatever, you have to follow the exact format of the, according to the guide to author, right? And then the style is something you need to do the flow of the presentation. And how to do, normally I advise, if you start for the first time or the second time or the third time for your paper, don't do just start like this haphazardly. Go and follow very fantastic paper published. Meaning that you will follow that paper and will see how they present. Even not the same journal. Now I'm not talking about the format, I'm talking about the style, right? You need to see how they present. When they present the novelty, in which part, how they write the abstract. So the more you read, the more you learn how to write. Actually, writing is skills. I talk with you 2 or 3 days, doesn't make much difference. I can give you the guide, then you will go to practice it. Practice will give you more experience. So writing, we must follow some style, especially if you are for the beginner. So I will see, for example, you are talking about application of certain software for medical health, right? For example. Then I will see other software and publication in that particular journal or very high quality journal, how they present, how they link the medical with the software and the novelty of that part. My one novelty will be totally different, right? But you will see the style, then the data they present, what evidence, how they show the methodology, how they show the result discussion and so on. This is what I'm talking about, the structure or the style, right? Okay, also we need to look to something very important here. Engineer or scientist, what they will write. Normally you will write book, article, proposal, maybe your thesis, right? Conference paper, and so on. There is many type of writing, correct? Remember, each one of them, different style, correct? You can't make all of them the same style. You can't go for conference paper 20, 30 pages, but for journal paper is common. Even review, you can't send to the conference 30 pages review paper. If for the chapter, you don't need to go for that novelty. You need to go for something basic, right? Same for your thesis. You have different style. You have to go for the fundamental things to show. So that means you need to look to who's the audience. Same like the presentation. When I do my presentation now for postgraduate, it's supposed to be different from when I do it for professors, right? And if I do it for undergraduate, my presentation should be different style. So your article, you need to look to the journal that you will send to, or to the conference, or to the funding agency, or whoever. Then you need to revise the content based on the audience. Okay, now coming to maybe the structure of the journal, right? Don't be scared. At the end you will earn, you will get your certificate, right? Okay, type of papers now. We have different type of paper for those who submitted journal before. May I ask how many of you published paper or submitted paper for publication? Cannot see, like? That's why I like the face-to-face. Okay.
But most of us, we already some
published.
Yeah, I have published already. Because I already almost finished. I'm waiting the Bible only.
Okay. This part I like. I have about 17 publication, almost 17.
Okay. So you consider orang kaya, right?
Orang kaya for publication.
Yes, orang kaya of publication, correct? Yeah.
Me, I fulfill the requirement.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Later can achieve more. But so now you have good experience. That means you know when you submit the paper to the publisher, right? When you open the journal paper, because you know if you go to publish under Science Direct, Sevier, or Schiller and Francis, or Wiley, or Springer, all of them they have the submission, right? Then you will go to the journal, then you go for submit. The first question they will ask you, is it regular or original research article, right? Some journal will call it regular article, some journal will call it research article. Is it review article? Is it case study, or maybe short communication, or letter to the editor, or editorial letter, but that one from the editor only, right? So this is different from one to one. Certain journal will not accept case study at all, only accept original and review. Certain journal will not accept any of those, only will accept original and review only by invitation from the editor, right? So different journal, different style. So certain journal, even they accept the review, but only by invitation from the editor. Or there is certain journal, you must request permission from the editor that say that I'm going to submit review. Is it okay to submit or not? So it's depend. Yeah, but for sustainability case, like let's say multi-disciplinary journal might accept something like case study. I'm going to show to you certain example. But for short communication, this one actually, you have something very new, very novel, and you have some very new data, but limited data, preliminary data, then you can send for publication. Certain journal will come in. You can see here, this journal reflecting one of original article. It just a traditional original article that majority of us going for, right? Because most of the publication consider original, right? So this is one in Journal of Environmental Management. I think you can see the style. You have the journal, the volume, the year number, page number, right? Then you have the title of so on. Okay, you talk about review. Oh, this is one of the review articles. You can look. There's two here, two titles in two different journals, right? You can see here in the top one is also review and the journal accept. Then the title below also review, but even without review word. So this journal, the below one, they have something called review article and they have mini review article. So different style and different amount of wording. That's why we have the guide to author is very important to know in your journal will be suitable or your paper will be suitable to which journal. Otherwise, it will be very difficult because here the number of wording less, so I can go for mini review. If exceed certain limit, cannot be mini review, should be for review. And not necessarily for the review paper to have to contain the word review, in fact. Case study, you can look to this one, very simple title. Public concern and behavior towards solid waste minimization in Kambar district, Malaysia. This is in my district. So it's very simple and it's just focusing on case study. This one I just shared to people, a lot of people from social science, they used to say it's very difficult to publish in social science. We are engineers, we can publish social sciences very easily. It's just actually certain questionnaire, data collection from public and so on, right? So it's possible, but to multidisciplinary journal. But of course, those kind of study might not be able to go very high impact. Okay, now, if no question, I can move to the following section, which is the structure of research paper. Can we? Shall we?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I like to say, for anyone good in cooking?
Cooking. I think Muhammad Dohi, Mr. Muhammad Dohi.
Yes.
Or how about Vira?
Biryani. She's cooking.
How about Yosef? Ayub?
Yes.
You good in cooking?
Yeah, yes, I am cooking, but Muhammad here is perfect to cook that.
make to you makluba?
Oh, baklawa?
Makluba or baklawa?
Baklava, yes, yes. Very nice.
Can ask him. Then, actually, research article is something
after Corona.
After Corona, yes.
If you can cook, Corona will be better. Okay. Okay. Let us move to the second section. Actually, to me, writing of research article preparation is something like cooking. I found this photo, but I found it very suitable for the preparation of research article. Why? Because there is a gradient, there is a structure, and there is procedure to follow, right? And then you can taste, then revise, correct? You can take action to correct, right? Expert people know this one better than me because I'm good at eating rather than cooking, in fact. Okay, coming to this point. The structure research paper in following this normally format, most of them actually, you have the title, right? Yes. Title must be sweet, must be short. Could be from 8 to 15 words. Don't make it too long, don't make it too short. Why? Because the title must be reflective, must be specific. I can't tell you that, okay, my research title is treatment of wastewater. What does it mean? It will clash with many other titles in the world. Must be treatment of wastewater by what? Using what, right? So it must be specific. The word must reflect the content of the article. So if I want to treat by adsorption, I will say by using adsorption of what to what. So must be specific, must be reflective, must be smart in terms of short and content. Title should not include abbreviation. In general, in some cases, some journal will allow you because it's very, very, very common terminology in that particular journal, right? But most of the journal will try to ask you to avoid abbreviation in the title, right? Of course, you cannot include result or whatever in the title. That is very important point. There is different type of title. There is something like descriptive, the one I showed to you before, but there is something like a question. Like, for example, I can say, can we replace totally the fossil fuels with renewable energy in Malaysia? Is question mark, right? It can be a title. So it can be question or can be descriptive. Okay, there is abstract. I'm going to discuss point by point, but shortly. Abstract is the first part of your journal, of your paper. It must follow the journal format. Some journal will ask you 150 word. Some journal ask you 100 word only. Some will exceed to 250, right? But majority of them is around 200 to 250, majority of them. So try to make it short. And of course, abstract is the first thing as a reviewer I will read. So make it comprehensive, sweet, to reflect your the content of your article, then can attract me to continued reading. Otherwise, if it's not presenting your article well, then this will be a major weakness. At the end, your abstract is a summary of the thesis. So it must present the objective, must present the methodology, result discussion, and conclusion shortly, and must be well connected. Not all data will be there, but the most important. Then after that, I'm going to one by one later, but after that, after abstract, you prepare me for the introduction. Introduction, you will go from general to specific in terms of going from the general problem to the specific solution that what you want to offer. And there you have to explain to me what is the contribution, what is the gap of knowledge exists, and what is the contribution of your solution, which prepare me to go for the methodology, right? So you are preparing me through introduction to go to the methodology to show how you will offer your solution, how your solution will be visible. So you'll present the study area or the sample collection way or the how you want to build your algorithm or whatever. All of this one you will present in your methodology, right? The procedure. Methodology should not contain any results because many people will mix. When they come to methodology, they will show some of their results because they built the second part of the methodology based on that one. It still cannot. You can divide into certain section, but you cannot show the result into methodology. Same, you no need to show the methodology back into result discussion. Result discussion just focus in result and discussion together. Result and discussion, I'm going to talk a little bit about it later. It must contain good presentation and good discussion. So you will present the data, the figure, then you will describe what is this data, then you will discuss it in detail, including the comparison with other literature. So this is in short how it should be. Then conclusion also I will summarize the work done and I will give space for recommendation to see what is going on and what is the limitation of this study and how to improve. Then of course, acknowledgement. We need to acknowledge those who has contributed to the paper, but not up to the level of authorship. Of course, there is references, figure, tables, and graphical abstract highlight. I'm going to highlight a little bit more through this journey. Okay, this is one of the title here. You can see post treatment of palm oil male effluent using electrocoagulation peroxidation technique in a cleaner production. This is descriptive title. It's not question, it's descriptive. most of you going for descriptive. Okay. Actually, the second things after the title, you will see, supposed to be down, I just remove. Then it's mine, but I remove the names. So is the author. Who should be the author? I want you to answer me. Would you like to fight with your supervisor?
No.
Yes.
For me, it depends to between you and the student supervisor, because if the 80% who done this paper by your supervisor name should be first. But if 80% or like almost 100% done by the student, so I think the student name should come first.
Yes.
It also depends. Sometimes also the supervisor have do a lot, but sometimes the student also do the 100% one. For me, like this.
But what do you think? I invite my wife to be one of the author in my paper, for example, one of the family member as well. One of my colleagues working in IT, but I'm doing publication in wastewater treatment. But he's my friend. I want to help him to do the KPI. So I invite him and he become one of my co-author. Right?
Yeah, I think for this thing, maybe if even in the different field, if he can help you on the proofreading, organize some part in the English part, maybe grammar, or maybe he contribute to something. For this thing, I can.
No. If no scientific contribution, no.
Oh.
Grammar editing is something called for acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for acknowledgement. If from different field contribute, for example, you are doing health with IT. You need some people from medical, you need to be some people from IT. Yes, it's strongly recommended because both have significant contribution. But later I have asked someone, oh, okay, you read my paper, but he's totally different field. And all of his publication, different field totally. This one actually should not contribute. Because even if questionable, he don't understand what is inside. Is he responsible about what is going on in the paper? No, right? Because he don't know. If he don't know, so he should not be one of the authors. If from the same field, you ask him to comment, to revise, to give comment, you add, I understand. But let's say someone totally, your sister, your grandma, good in English, you just check grammatical, then I add the name. This is not acceptable. So that's why the next question, how many authors should be in the paper?
I'm not sure about this. Also, I have a question. How about the husband and a wife? Like the husband write the paper and put his wife's name. Is it this thing is calculate valid or how?
Of course, the people can do this one. If they are working in the same field,
yes. Same field can.
No, if they have contribution, if they contribute to the paper, doesn't matter. Right? The matter of publication of the author is the contribution. If they have contribution to the paper, yes. No contribution to the paper, no. That's simply like that. So based on that one, I want to go for another question. How many authors should be in the paper? Any limitation for this one?
This one, I'm not sure about this. I never see any limitation for the authors. Maybe Mohammed J can answer.
Yes.
We saw many, like 5, 6, 7.
This is
I'm not sure whether have rules for these things or not.
7, 8, not many. This is common now.
Exactly.
Yes. I saw with 40, 50.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I found one journal. I see like more than 10 the authors in that journal.
10 is
but
common.
Is it recommended by like
more
this
than
doctor?
10. How about?
It's based on the ethic of publication. There is no limitation for the number of authors as long as they contribute to the paper. You can see some paper which is 10 authors, but you feel there is something wrong because the paper does not really require 10 authors. And you see some certain paper which is 20 to 30 authors, and you can look to that one as logic things. For example, one time I saw one paper from different people, research center from different country working in Antarctica. And then from different perspective related to sustainability, environment, and so on. So you need many research center to be involved. Many people are involved there. So you can feel might be logic. But if you talk about treatment of certain type of wastewater using lab material by one master student, right? Then you add the whole family. This is not really that thing. So no limitation is based on the work and based on the need. In terms of the arrangement, the right way, the student is the first name, because the student actually, he did the work. So normally our students, sometimes even our FIB student, if they write the article in the first draft, we put them as first name. And then for other who contribute can be second, third. For the corresponding author, yes, for me, I support strongly to be the supervisor, corresponding author, because later the email will come to the corresponding author, which refer to the university. The student will leave the university, but the university email, the address will be there. So the supervisor can keep the title as a corresponding author, but the student who is like master, PhD, this is her own or his own work, and he's the one who writes the article, then deserve to be the first author. This is the common ethic of publication. But sometimes if the student left, like FIB left, then the supervisor have to write, have to do the analysis, and to have to follow back, maybe he can move to that first. But anyhow, nowadays the weightage, the importance of the corresponding author is very high. Okay, so this is the way. Now I'm coming to the detail with writing abstract. If you look to the abstract, it's supposed to be structured like that. You don't need to weight each percentage, right? You don't need to weight, but this is something reflective. About 15% the objective. Maybe you add, if you want to change the weightage, maybe you can have 5% like general introduction, okay? Which is to attract attention, like recently very hot issue in the world, right? Or something like that. Then you come to the objective. This article aimed to what? Or this study is aimed to, so what is the scope? Then you will focus on methodology. What is the method that you use or material you use shortly, or the model that you use, or you are building actually a hard model or soft model. Then the result discussion, which is your major part. And after that, conclusion, which is even can be limited to 15% or 10% at the end, right? So this is actually the good abstract will be containing those 4 elements. Don't go for half page. We talk about introduction, then no methodology, you come to the result discussion. It's not appropriate. Keywords, of course, that is, I think, very simple part for you. Normally 4 to 6 words. Try to avoid writing sentence when you write the word, the abstract. And then for this one, it's commonly 4 to 6 words. You can see here, but here more than 6 even, right? But try to avoid abbreviation as much as possible. Then introduction. Introduction is a place like story. To write article, you need to write good story, especially for introduction, because you are guiding me from the general, the problem in the world, to the specific things why you need to do this research, right? So must be something interesting. So I want to share with you for the introduction, you start, what is the general problem? Then you talk about detail of the general problem and the solution offered in the literature. You need to have the citation of the recent literature, right? Focus on the last 5 or 10 years. Then present the novelty, and this novelty, what is the objective, then justification of the study. You can merge those 3 parts, the last 3 parts together. That is the way we write the introduction. Don't start from the problem, then you talk about the problem, citation, and the problem, but you never tell me what you want to do and why you want to do it. It's important to tell me why you want to do it, what is the gap of knowledge that you are addressing. Even review paper, you need to talk about what is the gap of knowledge, make you to do this research review article, right? It's a must. Then material and method. How was the problem studied? Sorry, the things I must make it each section about 2 pages, because if we go very detailed, will take very long time. So in the methodology here, we have to talk about how was the problem studied. The answer is in the method. You need to tell me in detail how you investigate this problem, which will lead later to the result, right? So all the detail necessary for another people to repeat your work. So your work must be repeatable, meaning that if the people want to follow your article should be able to get the same result. From where to do, they have to follow your methodology. If they follow your methodology, say they're supposed to get the same result, theoretically like this. That's why material and method, the section should contain description of the study, data collection, method used for analysis, and so on. Of course, quantitative or qualitative analysis, if you have, you need to mention there. Coming to result and discussion, this slide presents everything that you need, actually. If you want to have very strong result discussion, first of all, you have your data, you have your result, right? Your result only presentation. You will key in your tables, figure that you extract from your software or the hardware, the result of the hardware or whatever. That is the data you present. Then you will describe this data. Okay, when the temperature increase, the removal efficiency increase, or the bioenergy production increase or whatever, then you will need to discuss why, what happened, up or down, improvement or less. You need to discuss it. And in the discussion, you need to enhance your discussion by using different literature to compare. And it's good in this one, after you finish all of your discussion, you provide a summary section with comparison to compare your finding with other literature finding. So this one will be even in table format, will enhance your article. In fact, for normally I present certain what we call format for that one, but for this presentation I delete to save time. So for the conclusion is, as I mentioned before, it's a summary of the result, summary, the main discussion point, not all, otherwise it will be very long. It's supposed to be almost to 300 words. Sometimes if you add recommendation will be a little bit more longer, but you should not repeat the abstract. Should not repeat the abstract. Okay, acknowledgement. Your grandmother write for you the edit for you the language. We bought here in acknowledgement, right? Someone say hi to you in the lab, encourage you to do your work. We bought in acknowledgement. So not everyone say hi to me in the lab. I will be add to the paper to the authorship, right? So I can add to the acknowledgement. Even for the sample I collected from the certain site or certain donate certain material, then also we do for acknowledgement. So something like this, very simple. We can acknowledge the grant funding and so on. Is a requirement now, right? Okay, so references. Of course, you are expert. References depend on the guide to author, right? So it depends. Is it the guide to author, is it alphabetically or numbering, right? And I think all of you have experience with that, so we no need to talk about this one in detail. Okay, now a graphical abstract. I know a graphical abstract, if you go, when I start, okay. My first paper was published in 2010. My first paper was published in 2010. And then at that time, if I remember correctly, there is no journal asking for something called the graphical abstract. And there is nothing called highlight. Even in maybe 2012 or 13, they start to talk about novelty statement or whatever. But now, if you go to Science Direct, all the journal will ask you about highlight. Even some journal you cannot submit without highlight or without a graphical abstract, right? Some journals still they don't need, but majority of journals, if you go to Science Direct Sphere, majority of them, they will need a graphical abstract and highlight. So graphical abstract is something like photo or chart or figure that represent or reflect something, want to tell something, attract attention about your work. So it's visual indication and it's reflecting the work and to encourage browsing, because later all the journal also want citation. You know, not only we crazy of publishing and increasing our citation, journal wants citation because ranking of the journal based on that one. So you look to this one very simple example of graphical abstract. Is the palm oil plantation, this is the factory, this is the wastewater, then this is the method that we use, then this is the result. So it's very short, right? And there is another example here. So it's, you need to, again, look to good example and try to follow based on your result and based on your data, right? For highlight was also to attract attention, to encourage people to come and read your article, because this highlight will appear to them before even they open the article, same like the graphical abstract. Should be 3 to 4 or 5 points for the journal. Again, not all journal request this one, but majority of them. Each highlight will be 85 characters. Sometimes when you submit more than 85 characters, they will send you back to do it before submission. Up to that level. Then, of course, it's good to have some data in that one to be considered. This one example show to you how to write the highlight. It's very simple, short paragraph reflecting the scope of the work, the result, and the conclusion of the work. Right? So you can see the things here. Of course, when you see the things related to your experimental work or study will be more attractive and more beneficial to you. Okay, a preparation process. So now we cook our paper. Now we know the gradient. You have the graphical abstract, you know how to do, you have the highlight, you have the result discussion, how to do, you have the methodology, how to do, introduction, abstract, combine them together. All of this one, we call it plan. Before I start my article, you go back and think. Before you start your article, you must think what I want to put in that article. What is the scope of my article? Don't make the scope too big or too limited. You have to think about this one. Before you start even writing single word, you have to plan what I want to tell in my article, then start to write. My question even, which part after you plan, you're supposed to write? Which part is the easiest part to write? Which one, based on your experience? Yes, Vera. Yes, you are year one, right?
Yeah, year one.
So that's very good. Based on your experience now, which part you will start to write?
The abstracts?
Abstract.
Oh no, first and foremost, I think of the problem statements and the gap.
Problem statement and gap. That is for thesis maybe, but for article, it's different.
How about background? Is it background?
The easiest part to write is the methodology. The easiest part in article to write in methodology. But not all the people will start from methodology. Some people will start from introduction, right? Right. Abstract will be the last thing to write, the last part. Because if you write everything, it will become very easy. But the easiest part, even in your thesis, the easiest part to do in your thesis is methodology. So if from day one, you will start to write literature review. But let's say you done your research and you don't write anything, then don't start in that case from literature, you will suffer. Literature, you're supposed to start from the first day. But if you come to you come to the experimental stage, but you never write anything from literature, start with methodology, then you can finish it quickly. It will motivate you to go back to stuck in literature. Otherwise, if you're stuck in literature, you will feel difficult to move. So methodology normally is the easiest part because this is what we are doing, right? What we did.
Yes.
But strong methodology is supposed to be based on strong literature. You're supposed to have strong literature before. Anyhow, so we have to plan. Now I know in this one, I just want to focus on modeling of linking corona with the IT software to identify the location based on the temperature. So when they catch their mobile directly send the signal to the place, then I will know, oh, there's someone got high temperature. That is my, for example, my scope, right? If I have this one in mind, so I will tell, okay, how we construct the software, how we link with the temperature and so on, how it will send the signal and so on, right? So my result, all of the things must be about that one. I should not include another device, another model, another something. I must focus on my scope. That's why I have to plan what I want to put inside. Then I will write it. I will write it based on the discussion just before, which is abstract, introduction, whatever, right? Methodology, all of that part, result discussion. Now drafting, right? That is the first draft. Now go and read it back and ask yourself, have I said what I need to say? Because you have planned something. When you come to writing, you will increase here more, you will decrease here more, right? So you will think, is it this one what I want to say? You will say no, something need to be improved. Maybe more discussion here, but this word can be omitted or removed and so on, right? So this is the thing. So planning, drafting, and editing. So not only that, after the first draft, you will go for the revision. Then the second draft. Then after the second draft, you will send to your supervisor. After that, you might send to your supervisor or other co-authors. Then final draft, you will read and submit, right? So there is many revision. Something like this. I like to use this photo. You know, when to start writing is not easy process. Not only for you, even for me. I'm telling you, even after 200 articles, still when want to start writing, okay, I need to push myself to start. It's common behavior. It's common behavior that when you want to start writing, because you will start from zero, right? So it's, oh, there is no mood, tomorrow will never come. You know that. So to be brave, you have to start. You have to start. Then you need to spend the time. Writing is time consuming. You need to concentrate. You need to love cooking of the article. Right? You need to taste it. So after that, after getting the mood, you will start writing. You know, you will move very slow. But after that, once you complete the first draft, you will think things moving. Article is almost ready. Even if the article is rubbish, even if the article is rubbish, is good. Because you have something you can improve. Improving time is not like writing time. It will be less modification and so on, since you have the result. Then things will move faster. And after that, we will feel like I'm hero. I have done it. Yeah, you will be too much proud of yourself. And this is not one article. Every article is almost like this. Now, I'm not sure if there is no question, I will move to another part, which is how to publish in top journal. Because just now I mentioned to you about the process, right? Writing article and so on. But you write that one, you did everything, then you feel, I sent the journal and then the editor rejected within 2 days. Even if he submitted to the reviewer, reject within 1 month. Oh, I sent the journal, then they reject after 1 year. This journal, this paper got rejected from 10 different journals. Could be, right?
Yes.
I will share with you one of my experience. When I was in PhD, I submitted one article, which I feel like very fantastic at that time, because my thinking was limited. So I thought it's very fantastic article. I bought more than any other researcher who bought an article. Other article we got 5, 6 graphs, 80 graphs. I bought maybe 20. Right? More data. Yeah, and then got rejected. I was shocked. Right? Then my scholarship need to renew, and the scholarship renewal is linked with the publication and so on. You know, it's very tough job. So
Looking for fast track.
So no, I went for Q1. I went for Q1 because my aim was Q1. And in fact, most of my paper, when I submit, I start with high. Then I start to think where to go. But when it start high. Why not? Journal need your publication as much as you need them. So the paper got rejected, and then a lot of comment, and then some reject without comment. So I sent maybe 3 to 4 times and got rejected. Then I sit with myself, take rest, because keep doing the things, submit the same paper will be very wrong, right?
Yes.
It will not repeat the same mistake. Then when I looked to the paper, I found if the normal reader or even researcher read my article, will find many contradicting things. This is not thesis, this is article. Article should have more focus. It's not worth that I will put half of my thesis in that article, because many data might contradict, then they will not appreciate. It will be rejected. Maybe it will be rejected due to too long. So eventually what I did, I separate into 2 papers. Preliminary work and the other work, which is same like other people, what they are doing for publication. And surprised, it was, at the first time was rejected from the journal, which is impact factor about 3. Then I separated 2 papers. 1 paper published in Q1 and 1 paper published in Q3. So instead of 1, I got 2, and 1 of them in Q1. Is because I just stopped repeating my same mistake. So need to have focus. So you have good article, but you have a lot of rejection. What to do? Coming to the point here, if you look to the percentage of author using various stage 2 academic publishing, say which one part is difficult, which one is not difficult. Most of the researcher academician feel that manuscript preparation very difficult. Some of them feel respond to the reviewer very difficult. Journal selection is difficult. Submission, complying with the ethical guideline, but the majority will be the first 3. Right? Let us move. To answer the question, if you prepare good article, now you need to think where to send and how to select the right journal, right? Now, before you send to the journal, you need to think, what is the criteria? You need to have your own criteria to select the journal. Most of you might select based, my supervisor published 1 before in this journal. Maybe. Maybe you download 1 paper which is suitable to your work, and you follow that article and you want to publish in the same journal. Maybe, right? Those could be kind of reason, but the professional reason that you want to publish in is, 1 is the scope. You need to look to the scope of the journal. For example, I'm publishing a lot of work in wastewater treatment, and we have some work related to bioresource technology. Journal of Bioresource Technology is Q1 journal, and they cover wastewater treatment. Can I send any wastewater treatment work related work to them? Definitely no. Certain work will be rejected. Why? Rejected even before reviewing, because out of scope. But they have the scope of wastewater treatment. Why could reject my work? If I don't use bioresource technology, they will reject my work, even it's related to wastewater. So you need to be careful about the scope. It's important. So doesn't mean if, oh, wastewater published there, but so I can't publish there. Not necessary. Look to the method and the criteria. So the scope is important. Another one, I will consider the impact factor, because the journal ranking now is important, right? As a researcher, we are looking for the highest.
Yes.
So if the quality of my article is good, so I will go for higher ranking. Then, third one, I will consider publisher. But I just want to highlight, when you talk about impact factor, remember, remember, impact factor is for the journal, it's not for your paper or for you. It's for the journal itself, right? So your paper might be good quality published in lower impact factor, or can be low quality but published in high impact factor, relatively, right? So the impact factor is for the journal, but the meaning that when you go for high impact, of course, their criteria will be higher, they might be tougher, and of course, more prestigious, right? But this impact factor for the journal, your impact factor is your H index. Your publication impact factor is the number of publication with H index. This is the researcher impact factor. Anyhow, we are going for consider publisher. Most of you in IT, I think you are going for IEEE, right? I think you are publishing in Sevier. Maybe you have many paper as well in Taylor and Francis Springer as well, right? Maybe even MDBI or MDIB, right? The Switzerland one, open access. So you need to consider the publisher, and I'm going to talk about this one. You need to consider the number of issue. The Journal of Waste Material Recycling and Management in Japan, they have 2 issues per year. 2 issues per year. While Journal of Cleaner Reproduction, they have 30 issues per year. Which one will be faster? Faster in terms of rejection or acceptance even, not necessarily only acceptance. Of course, cleaner production. Although the cleaner production is Q1, but the second one is Q3. Which one is tougher? Both of them could be tough because the material cycle and management will go for less than 100 articles per year. Cleaner production, they will select more than 2,000 articles per year. Both of them competitive. And both of them might have rejection rate of more than 80%. But it depends on the number of paper that they receive. But how fast they are, this is important. That's why I will consider the number of issue. I prefer, if I have the chance, to go for the journal with high number of issues. And that one you can check by ISI Web of Knowledge. You can check the name of the publisher, you can check the impact factor, you can check the scope, you can check the number of issues per year. Also, you can check if there is open access or not open access. If you are Kaya enough, then you can go for open access, faster publication, right? They have also Q1, Q2. But if you are like our case, you prefer to go for without payment, then you just will go for the normal subscription. One of the important part that the researcher many researchers do not take care of is average time of acceptance. This is, you need to think about it. You download a few paper and look to that one. I will show to you some examples later. Journal requirement and guideline to author, you need to check as well. I will go through those points because I feel this is very important for you now. For good journal to select, please think about the one which will increase the chance of getting acceptance, meaning the scope is related. Think about the one which is more popular and respected, prestigious journal, high rank, high impact factor, right? Think about the one which is faster. Faster does not mean lower quality. Many journals under Science Direct, they go 3 months. If your paper okay, it can be published. And they are higher quality than certain journal which will go 1 year waiting under editor to assign reviewer. So does not mean fast, that mean lower quality, but that mean action faster by the editor. No publication fees. Then if your work is read and cited, that mean like, for example, you will be consider this one in our field is environmental. When my article will be cited more? Is it if it's published by Springer or by Science Direct? In my field, if I publish it in Science Direct, most probably will be more cited. Why? Because most of the universities around the world subscribe for this Science Direct. So if they can subscribe, that means the journal is available for most of the university, right? So there's probability to get more citation, and visibility of Sans Direct is higher. Doesn't mean Springer is less quality. It could be higher quality, but I mean in terms of visibility. So this one, there is, if you go even Springer comparing with other publisher unknown like Ender Science, USA, Ender Science, which one visibility will be more? Of course, Springer or Taylor Francis. This one we will talk more about it in detail. You look to this point, the factor that the author consider around the world when they select the where to send their journal. Most of them will consider also high impact factor. It's very important. They will consider if there is similar paper published in this journal, because this is reflect that the scope is there, right? They will consider the time of publication. How to check the time of publication? Anyone can answer, please? Yes. Nur Aisha, you published 17 articles, right?
Yes.
So you are so capable.
Almost. Usually in the paper, right? You made on the article where we can check. I think most of the journal they write when they receive, when the acceptance letter been issued, then when they start to publish.
Panda, yes.
In your paper.
Very good. Exactly. You can view that on the journal itself. Yes. So I will show to you where, because some journal you will surprised how long they talk. So the time of publication is important, especially for you. If you are year 1, year 2, you want to publish to graduate. Imagine you are thinking to the journal will give you feedback after 1 year or 2 years. You are killing yourself, right?
Yes.
You are wasting your time. So you should send to journal, even strong, tougher, but with effective time is fine, not necessary to be open access. Of course, you might go to publish in that journal because colleague, senior advise you to go for this journal. Clear, professional looking, the website, maybe because open access, your supervisor is rich, can support open access journal, it's fine, right? Okay, so now when we talk about selection of the publisher, I said to you, in my field, I will select most probably those 5, even we have more, right? Like Sevier, we have a lot of journal here, Tyler and Francis, Wiley, Springer, right? All of those journals, last time only by subscription, but now they have both open access and subscription. You can select when you submit, they ask you, you want to select open access or what we call normal submission. If you select open access, they might charge you 2,000, 2,500 USD dollar per paper. So they will get rich very soon, right? Yeah, but there is even some paper under them, some journal totally open access. Okay, you will ask why open access? The world now, either you pay to read or pay to publish. You have to pay, either to pay to read for subscription by your institution. Like if you want to subscribe to Science Direct, you might pay a few million USD to make it open for your institution, or you will pay to publish it. That's why this is the difference between open access and non-open access. And since there is more open access, it's very challenging for non-open access because most of the university now will stop. So it will be more challenging. So more of them might move to open access. So this is another challenge we will face. The publisher, but don't forget, even within the same publisher, different journal, there is different editor, different policy, right? Okay, all the previous journal, they have both actually subscription and paid, which is the open access. But some publisher now only open access, meaning that no way to publish any paper if you are not like paying about 1,800. This one MDBI from Switzerland in Europe, and then normally the article will cost maybe 1,800 Swiss franc. In that way in US, and then they will charge you in USD dollar. It's very expensive. One article you pay about close to 7,000 ringgit or to 8,000 ringgit. Very expensive. Yep. Now, currently, I'm serving in this MDBI. I'm guest editor for one journal, which is water. They will charge, of course, they don't pay for the guest editor in this case, but they will charge anyone who will submit any paper to our issue. Any will be charged 1.8K Swiss franc. Right? This is under water. Water is a Q1, but luckily for guest editor, we have a free one article to publish there. That's why actually. Okay, but efficiency is high because you pay them, so they serve you, right? Correct? So since they serve you, so they will go for publication rapid. For example, you will get the feedback within 25 days or maybe shorter. So very efficient, and acceptance rate normally is higher. So instead of getting 18% or 15 or 14 or 20 maximum acceptance rate in subscription under Science Direct or Springer, in this MDBI or Hindawi, you might get 70% acceptance rate. So it's much higher. Right? Okay. Now, talking about time of publication, if you look to this article, you look, it's very high quality journal Q1. If you look to that, can you see the mouse? I'm moving the mouse. Can you see that?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. If you look to the receive for July 2017, right?
Yes.
And then accepted in 23rd September.
Wow.
It's very fast. But if you see this journal, my paper here, with this date, still you no need to send your paper here. You need to look to another 2-3 paper if they all the time short. Because for this journal, the average is around 4 months, maybe 3+. But in this case, in my case, I got 2 months. Maybe the fastest that I publish in this journal. But still 3-4 months, if from submission to acceptance, very good.
Yes, very good.
Yeah. So there is some luck. So this one I was considered lucky in terms of the shorter duration. But in general, for this journal, if more effective, that means 4 months, I can get the final result either accepted or rejected. Okay. Look to another journal. It's also Science Direct, right? Renewable and sustainable energy. If you look, most of the article that I submit here, I will got about 6 to 7 months. Do I still need to go there? Yes, the impact factor of this one, 10. So I need to fight for that one, right? So it's worth to spend even 1 year to go for this journal. This is my opinion. So 6 months is still okay to me. So, okay, you look to this one. This under non-famous publisher from US, Mary N. Liebert, is famous in US, but not famous here. Is received June 2010, published almost 9 months, right?
Yes.
Submission is a bit noisy, each figure separated, and then the response is slow, and then publication taking longer time. Visibility, not much, although this is a Q3 journal and the impact factor 1 point something is fine, but the impact factor is not everything. Visibility of the journal is important. So after my experience there, I never publish, I never send. It's not my priority to send there. Does not mean I don't want, but there is any other option which is more preference to me. So that is based on experience. You look to this one, of course, I will never try after that. You look to this one, this article is from 2012, published in 2014.
2 years.
Long.
Right?
Yeah.
I never go after that. I never submit any article after that. So that one, publish and go. Don't come back. So I mean, is many different things. Okay, maybe I forgetting to bring this one. There is one article that I saw online, published in open access journal within 1 week.
Oh.
Receive acceptance 1 week, but that is open access journal. That means paid journal. So paid journal will be very efficient in terms of, but maybe the quality questionable sometimes. Okay, one of the famous publisher open access journal now is MDBI. Maybe one of the journal under them is Water, which I'm serving as a guest editor. There is another journal called Energies. This is peer-reviewed. You can say, you look here, approximately 15 days after submission, you can get the decision. This is maybe Q2 journal. I'm not sure Q2 or Q1. You can double check on this one. This is the impact factor 2.67 in 2017. So now probably will be almost same or less. But the cost, 1,800 Swiss franc. So we published just now. We showed to you very high impact, but with zero cost in terms of publication. From where the journal get the money? From the subscription. So either this one or that one. And that's why they face more challenge nowadays. So this one still a Q1 or Q2, so still recognized in the university, and there is many university now. Maybe like in certain country, they support those kind of publication. Because certain country pay a lot for those kind of publication in Q1 to increase the ranking. Because as I told you, ranking not only about the quality now, part of it is the part of the game, counting, numbering, to count then how many citation, how many paper published in Q1, Q2, and so on. Okay, now you write your abstract, you write your title, but you don't know where to send, where to submit. Can I get some feedback? Can I get some suggestion? In fact, yes, you can get some suggestion. How? You can go to something called what is called journal selector or journal finder. For example, you can go under severe, just click this link, journal finder. You will just find one page asking you to enter your title, to enter your abstract, then select, then you will find suggestion of the journal that match with your abstract. That can suggest based on the content, based on the scope. Same for the Springer. They have also journal suggester. And there's some suggester based on cross-discipline. For example, the severe one will suggest for you only from the Science Direct, from severe. Springer one only will suggest for you from Springer. But there is some will suggest for you from all. This is one way. So for example, this is a severe. They will ask you to enter the title here, to enter the abstract here, and then you just click, then they will suggest for you the list of the journal, and they will show to you the time, they will show to you the matching percentage and the response time, how many weeks, and so on. Now, you wrote your paper, you cook your paper, right? Your paper is well cooked. After you cook it properly, then you know where to send, right? Because you select the journal, you know, you check your pocket, your budget, you can pay or not, you check with your supervisor, you check with the impact that you need, right? You check with the journal that you want to, the publisher, the requirement, the guideline, right? Publication ethics, all of this one you check, right? Now you are ready. Okay. Now you can go submit. I just select small, one example. One of the journal that we are familiar with Journal of Clean Reproduction. You can see the severe actually is the browser is very nice production. If you enter, right, if you enter here, you will see that you need to select article. And to select article is actually at the bottom, it's not mentioned here. You need to select the article. When you select the article, they will ask you, is it review, research article, or to special issue, and so on, because there is certain special issue. So let's say I select the research article, then they will ask me to enter the title, right? So you just click the title, because you will just copy from your paper, right? You will just copy it from there. Then you will go here, you will enter the name, your affiliation, right? Country of origin and so on, and all of that one. Of course, the country here referring to my affiliation. So from here, I'm working in Malaysia. So when I write the country here, I'm writing the country of my work. So we will write Malaysia, not Palestine. So this is the process. Then we'll ask you to add author. So you will add more, 3, 4, 10, whatever. I saw one journal limit them to 10, but there is no limitation normally. So you will add more author and their detail. If you don't provide the email of any author, they will not accept submission, because after submission, they will notify all the author that you have submitted one paper. Then you will enter your abstract. You look here, if let's say you are submitting to bioresource technology, if you bought 150 words, you cannot go next, because it's already counted. It should be less than 100. So they control you. So it depends on the journal, as I mentioned. So you must follow for the abstract. Don't change the title in submission and in the online system, because some people will change, modify certain word in the title, but in the paper submitted still the old version or not modify one. They will reject that one. Then you will enter the keywords, classification. Even under the journal itself, there is a classification. For example, you have a culinary production or sustainable development, sustainable consumption, products. You talk about education, sustainable development. So you can see certain things related to the regulation and social science, right? But also under sustainable development and cleaner production. So you need to select, because the editor will decide the reviewer based on your selection here, which area. It will help the editor to decide, because they have database about reviewer. Even the reviewer you suggest, they might select none of them. They might select from database and add your reviewer to their database. So it depends on them. So here you need to enter your comment. Just will say, okay, dear editor, this is our paper, this is the title. It's a potential, is our original article. Is a potential candidate to be published in this journal. All authors have the responsibility and read this article completely and so on. So it's just introduction, short one to be added here. It's actually like the cover letter of your article, because you need to have cover letter, right?
Is it compulsory to add?
Oh yes, you can't move if you don't have this one, but it's like cover letter. It's very simple, meaning that. Yeah, so it's very simple and it's not big issue. Maybe if we have time, we can share with you one article how we submit, because submission is not like production, it's totally different. Production, the one you see two column, and this one is production, after production. So let us move to the second point here. Then you will suggest reviewer. They will ask you the name and the position and so on, and the reason why you select. So you cannot say this is my grandfather, you cannot say my friend, right? Must be someone expert in the field, has funny publication in the field, or any other things related reason. So you need to suggest, for example, 4 reviewers. Some will ask you 2 reviewers. Some journal will not ask you to suggest any. So it's the end. But is it the editor will select those reviewers? He might select some, might select none. So it's depend. They have database, they can select from that one. They might select some of them, could be, we don't know. Because normally we're supposed to not contact the reviewer that, oh, I suggest your name, have you received my paper? Please, make it very good. Positive comment. It's supposed not to be. If we are professional, we suggest even some friend who's expert in the field, let them free to decide. They will be more helpful rather than if you ask. Because if you ask, that means you make them under pressure. They cannot say no, right? It's more to appreciate. Dealing with the reviewer. Now you submit the paper, but before you submit, after suggest the reviewers, there is something attached file, right? Attached file. Have you seen the mouse where?
Yes, you can see.
After suggest the reviewer, you go next, you will attach the file. So you need to attach the, in this journal, they will ask you for graphical abstract, they will ask you for highlight, they will ask you for the full manuscript and cover letter. They will ask you about this one all, even about copyright statement, that there is no conflict of interest and so on. They will ask you about all of this. So now you submit the paper. You spend 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, I don't know. Then you got major correction. What will happen? You should be happy. At least you got major comment, not rejection, right?
Yes.
Major comment, still high probability to be published. More than 80%. Your probability is very high. So look to it very positive. Yeah, when my students come very down, they receive major, they cannot do, I said, very good. At least we got comment to handle. So we move. How to handle? First of all, you need to look to the process. The process, the paper will be sent to the publisher, will be received by the technical committee. If not in order, they will reject. If in order, they will submit to the editor. Editor-in-chief will handle the paper. If within the scope, he might review quickly. He might reject. If he's initially okay with it, he will assign to the reviewer. So if you ask the editor, that means your probability is higher, but less than 50%, right? Still less than 50%. Then, of course, when you send to the editor, before he sent to the reviewer, he will look to the originality related to the journal, the section that there, the theoretical and practical implication, references, because he need to check quickly, right? Then later, he will accept, reject, or whatever. But this one, normally, if he accept, will be based on the reviewer. He will send to the reviewer now. When he sent to the reviewer, he will wait for the reviewer comment. Based on the reviewer comment, he will decide to accept without any correction. And this one is semi-impossible. Even if you have Nobel Prize, still you might have correction. Because if I'm not mistaken, I read one time about one of the scientific who got Nobel Prize about something, I've forgotten, in medicine or chemistry, sent certain paper to high impact journal one time and got rejected. But later, after implication of that research, he got, after many years of that one, he got the Nobel Prize. I can't remember the name, but meaning that even very big professor can get rejection. It's common. The more rejection that you will have, the more acceptance that you will have, actually. So that means you try a lot, right? That means you are working a lot. So more rejection, more acceptance. This is the idea. So now, moving to the accepting directly is very uncommon, right? Hello? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Minor revision possible, reconsider, or major revision, rejection. So the highest probability for major, later minor, of course, rejection. This one is very uncommon. Okay, based on what the decision will be made, editor will make the decision based on the reviewer comment. For example, he might get 2 major comments from 2 different reviewers. Then he decide major comment. He might get 2 major, he look to the nature of the major comment, then he will say to you rejected. Could be. He might look to minor, major, he make it major. Minor, minor, definitely he will make it minor. So something like this. So does it mean 2 reviewer give you major that the editor will accept? So he will look to the comment, the major, because he will receive many articles, right? And let's say he receiving 5,000 articles and he need to publish only per that year 1,000. So that means he need to reject 4,000. So he will look to the best of the best in this case. So peer review is to evaluate by expert. They will help the editor to decide and help author to improve their manuscript and so on. Of course, don't be scared. People will read your article, right? And they will criticize, right? They will criticize your article because they are looking for weaknesses, maybe sometimes the strength, but of course they are searching for weaknesses. This is the process normally of evaluation. You go for submission to the editor, then the editor will decide about the reviewer. Reviewer sent to the, go for the comment, they take 2-3 weeks. Then in this one, they will get to the journal, the journal sent to the author and to do. Here, this is the process where some journal very efficient. For example, I'm reviewer for many journals under Science Director. If I receive the journal, they will give me 21 days, 3 weeks. Before 1 week of the due date, they will send me a reminder 1, 2, 3 times until the due date, then I should submit it. If I late, they might withdraw it from me. So they will say, thank you very much, your review is no longer needed because they got sufficient review. So this publisher is very efficient, right? Some publisher will not even ask you, you got 3 months, then they will not ask after 3 months. So Science Direct, within 3 weeks, they will ask you, so they will push you to send your comment. Once you send your comment, within less than 1 week, they will send to the editor will decide, they will send to the author. Author will be given like 1 month or less to address the comment. Then they will send back. Editor will decide to send to reviewer again or to decide the decision to accept or reject or whatever. So that's why certain publishers are efficient. Certain publishers, this one will take long time. Okay. That's why, okay, now talking about why paper could be rejected. If you submit to the wrong journal, it will be rejected. I'm telling you, I'm treating wastewater by something called adsorption. If I go to, or electro-oxidation, if I go to bioresource technology, they will reject me. Because their scope is bioresource, but if I go by anaerobic digestion, they will accept. It's not to say accept, but still within the scope. So it will go reviewing process and so on. So more appropriate. Issue not important. I'm talking about, let's say, compost and public awareness of waste management in Kambar. If I send this one to journal, very high impact, they might not consider because the issue might not be that important. It's a local issue, case study, right? So it will not be that important, not to the edge of contribution or the edge of knowledge. So the gap is not that important. Data is old or not relevant. Many research published in that area, even review paper, you want to publish, but some people publish similar review paper. Then they will have doubt. What is the important? Why we need to publish your data? Practical difficulty. You talk about something that you did, but in fact, it's impossible with the equipment or whatever that you have, if the editor have experience. English poorly written and organization of the figures table very bad quality. Statistics inappropriate. You have a statistical analysis, but you select, let's say, 20 sample. How you selected 20 sample, you are not sure. You just select 20 sample. Then could be biased, right? So this is also one of the issue. Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest, you might submit certain paper and then the supervisor submit, then the student sent to the journal, I'm not happy, I graduate, I should be the first name. The journal should say, okay, there is a problem in this. You could have conflict with the editor. I don't know. Let's say you have one competitor from another university, from the same field, they are working in that area, they don't want you to publish this paper. Probability is there, not high, but could be. In fact, certain journals, they not only ask you to assign reviewer, some of them ask you if you want to avoid reviewer, meaning that if there is certain reviewer, you don't want them to touch your article. In the case the editor select them, because they are researchers from the same field, but you have problem with them. you have conflict. So you can avoid that. So he can avoid this one, but this is dependent on the journal. Due to ethical issue, what we mean by ethical issue, there is many things related to ethical. There is fabrication, falsification, plagiarism. Most of the journal, if you plagiarism more than 20%, they will reject your paper automatically, even from your thesis. Fabrication, you totally fabricate a new data which is you never done, and then they discover that one. Falsification is different from fabrication. It's something you change, you manipulate your data. And this is one of the issues that you might face. Okay, now you received a comment, right? Either even rejection or whatever. So what to do? Please, please, please don't be angry. Relax, right? Your paper already done. It will be published somewhere. Just need to be patient and to have more sabr. So don't get angry. Calm down. Be positive. Don't take it personally, because some reviewer might say something harsh like this article is bad or whatever. Doesn't matter. So if it's rejected, do the correction and send to another paper. If there is comment, read it, think about it, take all the comments seriously. Don't ignore any comment. All of them, you need to list them to answer them in appropriate way. Because later will be handled by the publisher, not the, sorry. After acceptance, if you handle all the comment, of course we have format that we use to handle all the comment. So if you handle all the comment, later you submit. Now the editor decide either to accept, to reject, or to send to the reviewer. But after acceptance, if the editor accepts, later you are not allowed to do any correction. You only will receive something called corrected proof to double check. So in that stage, when they send to you, you're supposed to not drop or to add any author. Only in revision stage, you still allowed with permission. But after that, you're supposed not to. Otherwise, they will ask you to contact back the editor for this reason. So it's not advisable. So in overall, what I want to say, journal need your paper almost much as you need their journal. And the editor want their journal to be read and their paper to be cited. So they are looking for something with high novelty, high contribution, that can bring more citation to them and more benefit to them, right? So this is the basic idea here. Of course, we can share with you, I know the time is limited, the submission and so on. People can communicate with me as well, and then I can share with them more. But now it's maybe preferable to open for question and comment from the participant. Yeah, shall we go for the discussion? I think many of them already sleep, right?
Hello.
No, yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, so now I
We
think
are
we
listening.
can. So now I think we will go to the Q&A session. So anybody have question to ask Prof. Mohammed Bashir regarding the publication in high impact?
No, I think everything is clear.
Good. So
I think have somebody want to talk?
Yeah, actually, I have one question regarding the publication in the journals that taken so much money, like $2,000, $1,700, something. So if that affect the quality of the paper, I mean, because you mentioned that the acceptance will be faster, like 70% or something. So it means that maybe the quality of the papers will be not good enough.
Okay, equality of open access is still one of the questionable things because acceptance rate is higher. But what they will do actually, the probability for them to accept more, right? And they have more open access, that means all the people can reach to them and cite them. so they can keep the high impact factor and can keep the ranking. So in terms of the quality, yes, I would say yes. Although they are trying to keep the quality, there is a rejection rate, maybe 30%, 20%. There is reviewing process. We do reviewing for that one. And the reviewing process is really critical. They can go 2-3 times reviewing within the same 2 weeks, you know, very efficient. But of course, the is not very competitive comparing with the subscription one. So it's relatively questionable. But can I say their quality is low? I can't say their quality is low. But I would say the one which is published in high quality, non-open access must be, I mean, went through more competitive stage.
Sorry for the interrupt, but my opinion is because recently I published one paper in MDBI, and really I got very tough reviewer. I got 3 reviewers. Each one of them mentioned more than 22 points, and the process is very fast. Like if I am submitting the comments at night, within 2 to 3 days, I will get the response from the reviewers. So according to my experience, if they will don't care about the quality, then how they are keeping the high impact factor for their journals? And because they will lose.
They are caring about the quality.
Yeah.
There is a few things contradicting. They care about the quality. Yes, they care about the quality, right? Hello, can you hear me? I think there's.
Yeah, I can hear you. Clearly.
Do they care about the quality? Yes, they care about the quality. And they treat you like customer. Because I told you, I'm guest editor in one of the journal of this MDBI. Because you are paying for this much, we have to give you the best service. Like today you submit, tomorrow you get the reviewer comment, right? And they give you very good comment. Why? Because they care about the quality. But again, they are not much toward rejection. They are more toward acceptance. That's why they are going 2, 3, maybe 4 times for correction for that one. Because I told you, their acceptance rate is 70%. If they don't have paper, they will not survive. And who will pay is less. So in terms of the quality, no doubt they have certain level of quality. We cannot argue that one. Otherwise, they will not be classified as ISI if they cannot show the quality control. But in terms of citation and ranking, this is another issue. Citation and ranking is related to how many papers cite you in the last 2 years, right? For the impact factor. And since you are open access, so anyone from my home, I can open that journal, right? From my office, I can open it. From the shop, you can open the article so you can cite it. So since it's accessible to everyone in every country, so most of the people, when they can download, they can cite. But those journals which with subscription, not everyone can download, right? So only the one download will cite it. So this is actually why they make the impact factor faster and so on. But look even to their impact factor. The impact factor also fluctuated. Why? Because for MDBI journals, when they got high impact, when become more famous, they will increase the number of issues. So they will increase acceptance of journal. And you know, at the end, impact factor is the citation divided by the number of journals. So that's why the impact factor even will be almost that stage. If they keep that same number of journal they published 5 years back, their impact factor now will be 10. But the impact factor is not only their measure. Also, there is something about cost and so on. So there is many factors. In terms of quality, I would say, yes, they have equality. They have equality publication. Reviewer very good, and they provide comment. But the comment toward positive, meaning that if you send the paper, okay, this is low quality or average quality, in another journal might be rejected by the editor directly. In this case, no, go more for modification. You got what I mean?
Yeah, I got it. So they will try to give the high quality to the paper, but they will, for sure, they will not accept the poor knowledge paper, and they will not affect their high impact factor because this is, as you say, this is their job. I mean, they should keep the high impact factor, the knowledge, because as you said, I mean, the MDBI, Elsevier, Springer, the name itself indicate the knowledge of these journals. So they will not accept normal paper or bull paper.
I agree. The quality is there, but again, as I mentioned, the 70 or 20% reflection of what? A reflection of how competitive and how fast. For Science Direct, the editor have 100 because it's a free of charge. He might receive 4,000 article, right? He wants to select 1,000. So from the beginning, once he received, if the article badly organized, he might reject. For MDBI, if I'm the editor in MDBI, I wanted first impression, if the quality can be improved, then we will start with improvement rather than rejection.
So the task of the reviewer will be more.
Yeah, will be more toward improve it if it's deserved to improve. But if not, of course, will be rejected. You got what I mean?
Yeah, I got. Thanks a lot.
Because at the end, reviewer have the right. Even MDBI sent to the reviewer has the right to reject. Right?
The decision of the reviewer will be taken by the journal, by the editor.
Will be considered. Of course.
Okay. Thanks for your time.
That's why it's SCI journal. No one can doubt about the quality. It's actually perception that, okay, acceptance rate is high. Yes, it's high. In comparing, still not guaranteed. Comparing with other, like IEEE, which is Q1. If you compare Q1 with a Q1, of course, acceptance rate here is higher, 3 times higher. 3 times.
Sorry, doctor. Just wanted to inform you, remain 1 minute for the session. so sorry.
Actually, communicate with me at any time, no problem. You are welcome.
Okay, actually
because we make it 2 hours.
7.
Yes.
So I think we will arrange another session for this part to be clear in next meeting. Our meeting, we will invite you again. So I think if anyone have a question, you can ask in the next meeting, which we will invite you again. So thank you very much. A big thanks to you, Prof, because join us and sharing a lot of very, very word thing. I think a lot of us get more clear on this.
Could we get the slides? Is possible?
Yes. Okay. For your information, I will share this slide in our page, so you can watch again in our YouTube channel. I will give the link to you.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good day and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, the Prof.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. هذا واحد. هذا
Thank you very much for your time.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you a lot, Vera. Hope can see you again in our next meeting to join us. Thank you, Saleh, Khalid, and Kakak Nihat. Thank you. See you again next meeting. Okay.
Thank you, Aisha.
Thank you.
Aisha, I am not in town. I am in town now with my friends. Stay here.
Oh my God! I record this meeting, Kakak. We will talk after this. Thank you a lot.
After. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Yusuf, Salah, and others people also join us. Okay, thank you.